TikTok is, man, that could be a wonder for producers because you could just put your music on there straight off your phone and make a dance or a video or whatever, and somebody could pick it up and say, hey, I like that. And it just goes viral from there. It's way easier on TikTok than Instagram or Twitter.
Well, what's up, sir, man? I appreciate you sitting down with me to talk about a really crazy year that you've had.
It just gets crazier and crazier every day, to be honest. So it's a blessing. That's what we asked for, right? So
the last time I saw the numbers for Lottery, just on TikTok by itself, it was at 2 billion views. 2 billion. That was in January. Has it grown since then?
Yeah, it's grown. I think I don't know the exact number right now, but it goes up like a couple 100,000 a week. So it's constantly growing.
Songs have gone viral on TikTok before. Obviously, Old Town Road, that's the biggest example. But with this Lottery record, I think this is the first time on TikTok that the producer went viral as well as the song. Because your tag is an essential part of the challenge, to the point where the people that are doing the challenge are calling it the Renegade Challenge.
Yeah.
Would you consider yourself the first producer to go viral on TikTok?
Definitely. I mean, TikTok has already said it. I mean, they put it out like this is the first time they actually seen the producer, like you said, go viral. That wasn't any intention at all, but it is happening, and it is the first for the platform and any social media platform. So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it kind of speaks to the importance of having a tag that's, I guess, somewhat appealing, at least, because when people hear that Renegade, they know what's about to happen, and they go crazy.
Yeah, and I've always like preached to put that little stamp on your beats. It's just because the market was so saturated with so many people trying to make music. There's nothing wrong with people trying to make music. Everybody do what you do, but to distinguish everybody, I feel like you should always put some type of stamp on there. And I guess that paid off. So
what's the craziest version that you've seen so far?
The craziest version I saw was a whole mall in Brazil doing it. And then they're screaming Renegade at the same time.
You posted that on your Instagram, right?
Yeah.
I saw that. Yeah, that was crazy. Wow, that's surreal, because you don't expect that to happen. And it's almost like if this had been a more traditional hit record, in the sense of, like a radio hit or a Billboard #1 hit, maybe this wouldn't have happened. Maybe the focus wouldn't have been on the first 8 bars of the beat.
That's exactly what would have happened. It would have been like the same scenario as the producer taking the back seat on a record, even though it would probably have still been a hit record. It would still be in a different position for the producer. And I feel like for me, I'm in that front seat with K-Cam. You know what I mean, for this song. And, even when the numbers, they changed the name of the song to Renegade for the numbers. It was Lottery, now it's Lottery, and you see Renegade in capital letters. And that's kind of crazy to me that they have to use the name to push, to make the song appeal to people.
Yeah, I think, honestly, in the history of just music, period, that might be the first time that's happened, where you've actually had to share the title of the song with the name of the producer. So going way back, I first knew you for your work with Ace Hood.
Yeah.
And you and Ace signed with Khaled about the same time, I believe.
He signed like a year before me, but it was just around the same. Yeah.
So back in 2014, you gave an interview in which you said that you found your sound by working solo, and I believe that's when you had the split within your production team. And you said as a result of that, you were making the best music of your career. And I think you said the same thing, almost word for word, either last year or earlier this year on Instagram.
Yeah.
So, and that suggests to me that you're always challenging yourself musically, and you're growing and succeeding because of those challenges. A lot of producers, get married to a certain process, and they kind of get stuck within a certain sound. How do you continue to challenge yourself throughout your career?
Just exactly what you said, man. Like, it's just always challenging the sound. Like, what can I do different? What, not even different. I don't even want to say different. Like, what makes me feel different? Like, listening, when I listen to someone, or I'm making a beat, like, I'm like, did this give me the same feeling as last time, but in a different sense? That's what I look for. I look for like that just explosion in my ear, but always try to, push the boundary of what can be done. Like, even for the lottery beat, for that's a drum loop, man. Like, that, to me, that's crazy, because I've really tried to like build on my musicality and like really make some good records, and then this song is a drum loop, which I'm not mad at, but it's like where it's at.
Yeah, no, I was gonna ask you about that because back in 2014, that was when you really started focusing more on the super musical beats, the crazy intros and the more complex chord progressions, and then to hear Lottery, and then I heard your tag on it. I think I heard the song before I knew that you were the one who produced it, but obviously when the tag came in, I put two and two together. But I was like, wow, this is different, because suddenly you went from focusing on the instruments and the mood to the percussion and the energy, and it was just a very different feeling that you conveyed with that track. And you don't often hear producers having that duality in their sound.
Even when I made that beat, like K Camp, he was like, yeah, let's record on that. And I told him, I said, it's not finished. He was like, why not? I'm like, yeah, why not? Why it's not finished? Like, then I was like, we just took a chance. Like, yeah, he already knew what he wanted to do, and it's like a marriage. Like, like when the artist vocals just sit perfectly on top with the beat, and I couldn't argue with it from there. Like, it's not something that I could say like I would do every time. It's just happened this one time, and it worked.
Yeah, not to focus on K Camp for this interview, but shout out to him. He was born in my state. Anyway, Lottery was a different record for him too. I mean, because I'm used to Money Baby K Camp, or Comfortable K Camp, and now we got Lottery K Camp. And you had been working with him since his debut project, so you've been working really closely with him and just kind of evolving with him. Does that, I guess, just working with an artist at that level of, I guess, intimacy, not to sound like creepy or anything, but at that level of intimacy, does that allow you to take more risk?
It definitely plays a part, and I feel like what it does is build trust in each other's sound between the producer and artist. Because let's say I would have sent that beat to somebody else, I don't know if they would have trusted me or vice versa for that to be a hit. You get what I mean? And K Camp, just knowing like our past and what we do together, he had that trust where he was like, okay, I know we could do something with this. And I had the trust too, like, wow, what you're doing right now is crazy. Like, and that comes from that longevity of building that relationship with any artist producer. I always preach that. Like, we could all send beats and do that, but it's about like, if you sit in there and you're building with, that's different. Like, you can't create a hit through the internet. I personally believe like it's always better to be face to face and bouncing those ideas back and forth, because it could build into something you don't even know, something like this, or a hit record, #1, platinum, diamond. It doesn't matter. It could grow into something else. You just have to always be building those relationships, and I really dwell on that.
So let's rewind to about a year ago. You released a single on Hits Only Entertainment LLC, and that was distributed through The Orchard. Tell me about Hits Only Entertainment and that single.
Hits Only is my imprint, my label imprint, which I release music from, which I currently am working a new deal for it, and also releasing music, new singles that you heard last time with Davies and Moneybagg Yo. Except this time I have so much music to release. It's just I really wanted it to be done the right way, and to, like, convey me as an artist producer, not just as a producer. You know what I mean? So yeah, that Hits Only is like my imprint, which is well, I can't like say the details, but it's really crazy. Like, the situation and who's partnering with me is really crazy on it. So Yeah, man, that's really it. It's only that that's probably gonna be like some of my main focus this year is hits only, and not so much the placement, but actually putting out records.
So, what advice do you give to producers to get to the point where they can leverage their careers as producers to get some type of situation like you're getting with a label, getting an imprint situation, getting some kind of deal?
That once again comes from the relationships. Like if as an example, you know what I'm saying, you do so much work with French Montana or Tory Lanez, or you do so much work that there should be a barter point at some point where you could say, okay, we've done so much records, you've paid me, I've delivered for you. Let's just switch this time. Just give me the verse, I'll give you the beat. But that comes from years of building that. Like not every artist is just gonna be like, well, let me drop that verse for you. But you have to like take a risk. Take a risk. Sometimes, it's not about the money, it's a bigger picture. So like sometimes I do it like that. And, depending on who I work with a lot, tons of songs have been made that haven't been, released. Why not? Why not make them yours and put them out? You know?
Yeah, someone, Carl Folks. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's an entertainment attorney, who's an advocate for producers. He said the same thing recently. I guess my question was, what logistically were some challenges to releasing these records that you have that you might have to get clearance from? I guess I don't really know what Davies or Moneybagg Yo's situation with regard to their labels and their clearance fees and processes go. So what was that like for you?
Just know like the easiest step is to get them to say yes. The hardest step is the clearance. And like that's the real, if you could get the clearance as a producer, that's the key. Like, but once again, that comes from just knowing and networking and knowing who to talk to and who to call for a clearance and what label and whatnot. But that's the bulk of it, is getting the paperwork and clearances. Like for records, that's really much it. That's really much the ball game right there. Once you get that, it's all game. You can do it.
So, traditionally, a lot of producers have taken a background role in the music business. You started branding yourself as a producer and stepped more into the forefront. And you've worked in the industry as a producer, both signed and independent. You release your own music through your own label. You have a pretty wide perspective that most producers don't have. How would you assess the current standing of producers in the music business today?
I feel like that is the new, I want to say, blueprint. Yeah. The blueprint is to be in your mute. That's a lot of producers forget. That's your music too. 50% split. When that comes, that's you. So you're just going to let that and be in the background and let the percent, which the person who's on the song with you has the same percentage as you. Why not? Why not take advantage of it? Why not try to put your name out more? All it does is build you into what you want to do or to reach the goal. My goal was always just to be a good musician, whether it was a producer, artist, whatever. It's just to always be known to put out something quality. And that could come from that. That could come from, I guess that's just how the way I am, like that put me in the front seat. But any role I have to play, I'm going to play it to the best of my ability, I feel like. And that leads to you being in the forefront.
So back to Lottery, that song came out last June. So it's still growing. I mean, so that must be amazing, especially in today's era where, singles just kind of, they get worked and then they get abandoned. But it doesn't seem like either you or K Camp abandoned that single, and it paid off. How quickly did it go viral, and what did that process even look like?
So like you said, it came out in June and it went viral in November. And the reason why it went viral is because they started to dance. And once that happened, it was like a whole new song release. Like even some of the, the video guys at Revolt and MTV, they told me like, oh yeah, we took the video out of rotation. Well, I had to put it back in this week because it got crazy. Like that's crazy for me to hear because that does not happen. Once it's off, it's off. So, just that whole thing with it going viral is is crazy to me. It's just the kids doing what they do with it, taking and doing what they're doing, and the platform, the perfect platform. I realize that it has to be like that platform. TikTok is, man, that could be a wonder for producers because you could just put your music on there straight off your phone and make a dance or a video or whatever, and somebody could pick it up and say, hey, I like that, and it just goes viral from there. It's way easier on TikTok than Instagram or Twitter or any other, social media.
Do you know who the first person was to? I guess I don't know who's I guess who that dance is attributed to.
Yeah, I mean, it's this girl named Charlie. She's 15. She made the dance, and she pretty much went viral from it, from her dance from Lottery. You know what I mean? And from there, people didn't know what the dance was. They just liked it, and then they started calling it Renegade Dance from there. But it was this girl Charlie who she has she's probably like one of the top influencers on TikTok who started it. Yeah.
You know how she heard the song and decided to?
I mean, it's just, I guess, maybe random. She might have just heard and say, hey, I like this. Because if you look at her profile, that's what it is. It's her picking songs she likes and making dances to them. And that just so happened to be a dance, a great marriage, the dance and the song with her. And yeah.
So I don't know how TikTok works exactly, but I have heard and I've read news articles about them wanting to create a streaming platform that would, compete with the Spotify's and the titles and Apple Music's. It sounds to me like you've had conversations with people who worked at TikTok. Are they, as a platform, supporting the record?
I mean, they're not supporting it in any type of marketing way, but they are, letting it do what it does. Like, there's no, I guess how they're not supporting anything. This is pure natural numbers. They are just in shock as we are, like, as far as like how this is growing. But there's like no like plan that they're saying, oh yeah, we're gonna do this to keep it going or not. It's just going, and like they're recognizing it. And I don't feel like it's their job to do that. It's more of their job to say, okay, well, you have this. We're letting you know the numbers. You can build off of it. So like it's up to you to build off of it on their platform, but they definitely acknowledge the record and what it's doing for them. So,
because I mean, they're excited about it. I know that. I don't know what kind of channels they have to directly reach people, but I guess the fact that they're reporting the numbers to you and contacting you and having those conversations is more than a lot of social media platforms would do for their users.
Yeah, because you have to think that people are joining TikTok to do the Renegade dance. People are joining the platform just so they can do the video and do the dance and put it up. And like that's once again a first time thing. People never just join something to do some type of pop culture fad. They never did that. They just joined it to build their platform. So now it's like once you're building up the platform, they have to talk to you and let you know the numbers. And I'm glad that TikTok shows you how much views is on a post and how much times it's been posted and stuff like that. That's great analytics for us to know to sell records.
Do you know how to do the dance? Have you learned?
Yeah, I know. I had to learn. You know what I'm saying? I had to learn it. Yeah, huh?
It's named after you, so you kind of
have to.
Yeah,
I had to learn it because somebody asked me that. Oh, do the dance. I got to do it. It says it has my name in it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I learned it. I can do it pretty well. It's hard to forget it once you learn it too.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with these kids. They see it once or twice and then they know it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that wasn't the case with me. It took me a couple times to do it. But once you know it, it's hard. It's hard to forget it. You'll know it. Like the Macarena. People don't understand. The Macarena was kind of hard to do at first. If you ain't know it, you're looking at everybody like, oh, I don't really know the moves. But once you got it, it's pretty easy. So I feel like it's around the same thing.
We'll see. I'm gonna play that record at my next event and see what happens.
Kids are doing it at pep rallies, like it's at their birthday parties. You know what I'm saying? And it ranges anything from 5-year-olds all the way to 18-year-olds that are actually participating. When it comes on, it has the same effect as like a cha-cha slide or a Macarena or something like that.
Yeah, it's like every 5 or 10 years, there's a new dance that everybody just latches onto. It's either, you know, Crank That, it's either Wobble. Now it's Renegade. So it'll be cool to see, you know, 5 years from now, who's doing the Renegade at parties.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I'm thinking about. You know, weddings and stuff. You know, people do it to have fun, and that to me is very appealing because I'm just like I remember going to birthday parties and like looking like, oh man, I hope he plays that cha cha slide. Like I hope he does that. That'll be fun. Like, and that's crazy to know that that can be one of those next type of records where it's just like it's thrown on at any type of social event and people automatically do it.
No, I mean, as a DJ, that's kind of just like a cheap trick that we can pull out
Yeah.
and get people on the floor. So thank you for that. So I read in another post that you shared that K Camp himself invested a lot of money into the marketing of Lottery. And he didn't feel like the label really helped, which struck me as odd since the record was already taken off and it was organic. Like you can't pay for this kind of success. You can't pay for this kind of attention. You know what I mean? So I was thinking about it, and I think we talked about this earlier. As massive as a viral hit as Lottery is, it's big organically, which you don't see. I mean, that's what makes it so unique. It wasn't necessarily the biggest radio or Billboard charting hit, which is kind of strange when you think about how these things work. I guess I just would have thought that the label would have jumped on it because the hard work was already done.
And that comes from, I don't know. I just think it comes from negligence. And at the end of the day, I just want to make it clear that it doesn't hurt us that they don't help. It's just, well, if he has a contract with you, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you help? It's just you're making money from it. At the end of the day, hey, if you don't, we're still going. We're growing. We're going to do it. We're not going to give up on the record. And it's doing what it does. Now we're getting response. Now that, there's a lot of stuff going on that is pushing up the record crazy. Now we get the Billboard charting and the actual numbers calculated for that unit sold. And, that sometimes you have to do that. You got to ruffle little feathers just to get, a response. That's the music industry. But, K-Camp, yeah, he did a lot. He put a lot into his own record, and I suggest every artist do that. Don't rely on anybody or wait for anybody to do anything. You always have, if you can, do it,
Yeah, well, that resonated with me because at a much smaller level, when I signed a deal with a major, it was me and an artist. It was a similar situation. We had something go viral, and then the label picked it up. And once that happened, the artist kind of just waited, and it was really difficult after that waiting period was over because the labels are humans. They make mistakes. They make miscalculations. No disrespect to the label. I think they made a miscalculation, and us waiting hurt us. And then we had to pick up that momentum. Thankfully, we were able to, but it wasn't easy. So I'm glad you said that because I think a lot of people get into this. They get this idea in their head where you get signed to a label and you don't have to do anything but make music from that point on.
Yeah, no. You should be, if you can't get a date, you should be doing something to drop content so until they give you a date. Something that is always going to keep you bubbling, keep you going up, on an elevator. Because if you wait for them, your buzz could go out any day. You don't know what could happen, you know what I'm saying? I think, too, like in these days, too, the label structure is they believe that, too. They believe that if they don't see you doing something for yourself, why should they? Even if you are in a contract, yeah, they believe that you in that second, but if you're not keeping it going, why should they? Like, that's just what it comes down to, I think. But and there's some situations where you could be doing it all and they still not doing anything. That doesn't mean you stop doing what you're doing. You got to keep doing it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So music business is changing. You're at the forefront of that change as one of the first, as the first producer to go viral in the era of TikTok, which really is an era of music, just the same way that the era of MySpace had its own defining factors for music. What's your advice for producers navigating social media and marketing themselves? I know you said put out content. What kind of conversations should producers be having with themselves about the type of content, about their strategy, so forth?
I would just say, just now, put it this way: the new generation, the past two generations, are visual generations. If you just play a beat, it's kind of just, I don't want to say goes in one ear and out the other, but it kind of is like not the same effect as if they visually see something while the beat is playing. So I've been doing this thing where I'm making videos, I'm making little short films that just contain music, but the music's purchasable. You can buy it if you want to. It's just little things that are more than just the cover art playing your beat. Like go in depth, like do something different that people would put. Like, hey, I made this beat. Listen to it. If you do, there's some artists that say, oh, I just listen to your beats. I don't even want to rap on it. I just want to listen to it. I feel like that should, like, you should build on that. Why not? And people don't want. Sometimes it doesn't have to have words. Sometimes it could just be a vibe that people want to hear. And I feel like for producers and social media, it's like time to reinvent. Like, you see what the artists are doing. Why not we do it too? We're the ones. Without, if you take away the beat, there's no music. There's no songs. There's no billboard. There's nothing. So I feel like producers have to take that back by, not take it back, but take it by just being different and putting yourself out there in different ways.
So last question, and I appreciate your time. What are you looking forward to over the next year with your brand, with your releases, with artists you're working on, with projects you're working on?
I feel like I just want, to continue to make Renegade a household name, new ideas and new music, of course, tons of new music. This year, I'm probably releasing about 10 to 14 records that are stuff that I've been working on the past couple of years with numerous big artists, and just trying to create as many waves as possible. That's it. Also too, doing deals with, like, trying to do other things that, the stepping stone, taking the business model, taking music and using it for other businesses and building from there. And so you can just give knowledge back to people. That's really what I'm on this year.
So what's the best way for people to follow you and catch that new music as soon as it drops?
You guys can follow me on any social media platform, which is Reezy Renegade. And I'm on all music platforms as Reezy Renegade too. So,
hey, appreciate your time. Much continued success. Congratulations on everything. It's just amazing seeing that happen, especially when you have so many producers out there thinking that we've seen it all and we've hit some kind of plateau. Renegade comes along, and there's a whole new world of possibilities opened up.
Yes, sir. Sir, appreciate you having me, brother.